Hi, I'm Jacob Gallucci, and today I'd like to talk about my experience in grade school. I um I went to grade school between 1993 until 2002, and believe it or not, in kindergarten I went to a different school than in the last 8 years of grade school that I had. In kindergarten, I went to a school called Our Lady of Pompeii. It's in the Taylor Street, Little Italy area in Chicago, and it was an older school, and there was only like about maybe 15 people in the class with me, and it was school. The problem with the school was that it was old and it just wasn't very good, and due to a low enrollment and just a ton of repairs that were needed, the school closed down in the summer of 1994, and I was in the last kindergarten class that graduated from there, so that's kind of cool. And my dad had actually gone there. He graduated at that school way back in 1970. So that tells you how long the school has been around. But so I transferred to another school. It's another one not far from there. It's called Andrew Jackson Language Academy. Our Lady of Pompeii was a Catholic school. Andrew Jackson Language Academy was a public school, and I went there from 1994 until 2002. So from first to eighth grade, and my first day there was a Wednesday. It was Wednesday, September 7th, 1994, and before I went there, I was given the option of, they have six foreign, when I was there, they had six different languages, Spanish, Italian, French, Japanese, Russian, and ESL, or bilingual. That's for the non-English speaking students. They took that to learn English, and I had the choice of either Japanese or Italian, so obviously I took Italian because I figured, since I was Italian, it would be a lot easier for me, and it was a good school, it really was, and I had a lot of fun there. Each class had 64 students in it. There were two classrooms for each grade with 32 students and two different teachers, and many of the people I went to school with in first grade, they transferred along the way. There weren't a whole lot of people from my first grade class that graduated with me in eighth grade. So many people came and went. It was unbelievable. In a span in the 8 years I was there, about 35 people left along the way, and 35 people came in as well, and there was a lot of turnover every year. There was a ton of people came and went, and I stayed. I made the right decision of staying, I would say, and school's relatively mixed. You have whites, blacks, Hispanics, and Asians, and it's really diverse, which is nice. And we had many field trips there. I remember going to the Field Museum, the Shedd Aquarium, Brookfield Zoo in third grade. The Robert Crown Center in Hinsdale, I went there in fifth grade. That's a health education place. It was so far away, though. That trip was weak, though. I remember walking in the woods. The walk in the woods was better than the Robert Crown Center was. I'm serious. And in eighth grade, I went to our class went to the Civic Opera House. We saw Mozart's play The Magic Flute. That was cool. It really was. And in eighth grade, we also went to the Chicago Symphony Center on Michigan Avenue. That was cool. That was fun. And we had this thing starting in third grade. My class had this thing called Accelerated Reader. It was for students from third to eighth grade, and basically it was a computer test where students would take a test based on a book they read. There would be either 10 or 20 questions, sometimes 5 for the easiest books. 10 questions was usually the norm for the average books, and 20 questions were asked for the harder books, and that was tough. I mean, but it forced me to read. It helped. It helped a lot at the time. It really forced me to read, and it helped me a lot. It really did, and it was a good school. It really was, and Many of the teachers I had are gone now. A lot of them retired, and unfortunately, a couple of them have died. My fifth grade teacher, Miss Burton, she was really nice. She was a middle-aged to older black lady, but she was really nice, and she died a few years back. We had an assistant principal named Miss Peterson. She was an older black lady. She was tough, but I got along with her. She was nice. She died when I was, I want to say, in sixth grade. She had been teaching at Andrew Jackson since the 1950s. The 1950s. The building I was at, Andrew Jackson, it was at 1340 West Harrison Street. It's between Troop and Loomis Street on Harrison, and Peterson was at the old Jackson. It was on Carpenter Street between Cabrini and Arvington. At that site now, it's Galileo. Galileo School is there now, and Jackson's better than Galileo. It really is. I had the option of going to either. I made the right choice, I think. I really did, and most of the teachers I had at Jackson were pretty good. Some were tougher than others, but most of them were good. And my classmates, I got along with most of them. They were nice kids. There were a couple bullies along the way, a couple, idiots, but most of them were okay. And we had a lot of different things at school as well. We had science fairs, winter assemblies right before Christmas, where each class sang Christmas songs. That was fun. And in seventh and eighth grade, we also had the high school fairs, and that's when a bunch of local Catholic high schools and public high schools would come to Ignatius, and they would talk about why their schools were great, and they would encourage us to consider attending these schools. And I ended up going to St. Ignatius College Prep for high school, but that's a story for next week. And I graduated from Andrew Jackson Language Academy on Wednesday, June 19th, 2002. It's weird that my first day at Jackson and my last day was on a Wednesday. That's crazy. What are the odds? But I haven't really seen many people from grade school since graduation. I don't know. I just felt that it was time to move on, and I was ready to move on to high school. I had been in Jackson for 8 years, and I had spent more than half my life to that point at Jackson, so I needed to move on. But I was ready for high school. I ended up going to St. Ignatius College Prep, and that was an interesting 4 years, definitely. But I'll talk more about that next Friday. And anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with 2 new videos, and until then, take care.